Jim Carrey is a well known comedian who got his first major role on the screen in the TV show Life in Living Color after Daman Wayans advocated for him after seeing his potential while watching him in the Los Angeles Stand Up Comedy Club. In the show, he played one of his most iconic characters, plus several others, which the most well known being Fire Marshal Bill. This character was a funny way to explain fire safety, where in the end he would end up making everything worse by setting everything else on fire. Well, this character was major. Jim Carrey also did have other roles in the show. It's from this moment onwards his career in acting really began. As time passed, Jim Carrey only got more and more popular until the 90s, where he was dominating movies at the time. Finally, in 1999, no, my bad. Director Peter Wilbur believes that due to Jim Carrey's iconic rubber faced comedic style and him being able to play, quote, an innocent and nice guy, would make him more relatable and believable to the audience. The Truman Show ended up releasing in 1998, starring Jim Carrey as the main character. The movie was critically acclaimed upon release, and even to this day is considered the best movie Jim Carrey has ever been in, arguably, because there are some people who say his more comedic movies are better. But besides that, Jim Carrey plays the main character Truman, who is the main character in an elaborate TV show where his whole life is being filmed in front of a live audience, constantly 24/7. The movie is surprisingly complex for having the same actor who crawled out of a rhino being in this movie, and is a far cry considering his other films. Granted, there are some comedic elements in the movie that reels it back in from his more comedic movies that he's used to. But overall, like the serious tone in this movie is really amplified by Jim Carrey's great acting. And honestly, you would like be hard pressed to not enjoy the acting in this movie because everyone in it just really makes it seem believable. It makes you feel like it makes it it feels like you're actually watching the Truman Show instead of watching a movie about it. The commentary in the movie is very ahead of its time, honestly, even especially for the '90s, and couldn't be more true nowadays. And in case you're wondering, the main commentary is just how much. Well, it boils down to two things: how much of our life should be spent on screens, and like free will as a whole. It's honestly amazing how a movie from 20 years ago could really like relate to people now due to people being like admittedly I am guilty of this, so I'm not gonna act all high and mighty and say, oh, I would never, but like most people just are on their phones 24/7, where to the point where their phone is essentially their life. And I think this movie encompasses that really good, despite like them talking about a different medium, which is TV shows. Because to my knowledge, I wasn't around during the '90s, so I wasn't aware of like if there was phones like that or anything like that. But I'm assuming there wasn't. So, yeah, even if you take the whole analogy of TV screens and all that, I think that would still make this movie pretty good. And honestly still have a pretty good commentary as it is because the movie makes its point so clear that there's no like that there's enough room for interpretation to adjust it to our modern technology. As for the movie itself and what the plot is, the movie shows like I've said before, the character is Truman. His whole life has been recorded for a live audience, and the whole like movie is just how they managed to record Truman's whole life, constant 24 surveillance. You have like interviews in the you have interviews from the actors themselves in the beginning of the movie, and you even get and later in the movie it cuts to like the director and he's answering questions for fans, and they even give flashbacks too for times when Truman's just thinking, and it's also great too. It's also pretty interesting too because like sometimes like they do things in a very specific way because like you can't record like when you record everything there's bound to be like nothing, so they just like whenever Truman's just eating sleeping or whatever they're just filming ads like next to him like, oh hey, there's Truman eating, and then next to him is an ad for a box of cereals. And there's a lot of blame product placements too that is interesting whenever you look back on the movie. Speaking of which, ooh, the replayability, that's a great one too. And the movie's also great too itself. Like the movie's so rewatchable due to like the little details that they managed to have. And even now, like I still like finding out stuff new about it every day. Like whether it's trivia, little details, anywhere. Every time I rewatch the movie, I always discover something like amazing that I didn't notice before. Like I guess it's kind of like okay. I guess it's kind of like Inception. Not that like you need to watch it a few times to understand it. More like you kind of like you can watch it again and then like notice the details you didn't before. For example, one of for example, Truman walks into like a grocery store randomly where his friend works restocking vending machines, and since this is all routine, he's just like pretending to pack vending machines for some reason. But the thing is, when he runs out, he doesn't know what to do, so he just improvises and takes out candy bars as Truman's not looking and puts them back in to make it seem like he knows what he's doing, which I would have never noticed on the first time. I didn't even notice that until someone pointed it out. And while we're on that topic, there's like you can really see how much like control the director has on Truman and his life, almost as if he is nothing. As Truman is just nothing more than a puppet in this huge elaborate puppet show. Like every living entity inside of Truman's quote unquote show is just like a domain where like the director controls everything. Everyone moves when he wants it to. Everyone breathes until he says so. Everyone is just a puppet, like completely like going along with this acting solely for the sort of like entertainment, which I believe is commentary for like how actors will often sell like their souls, not literally, but pretty much literally, but yeah, sell their souls for fame and stuff like that. Like how shoot, I'm trying to think of an example. Ooh, okay, oof. I can't think of anyone right now, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I mean, what about like Tom Cruise? Maybe I don't know. But look, if there's someone you know who sold their soul off to Hollywood, leave a comment. I'd like to hear an example because I can't for some reason I can't think of one right now. But anyway, yeah, like everyone, you can even see that like everyone is just fine with this too, because other than like actors who are fired, which are like two in total, you really can't like most of the actors are just completely fine. Like they have fellow co-hosts just die off in episodes or just get booted out and never seen again, and they're just fine with it. Like the show just keeps moving forward without them. Like every single like there is pretty much everything is accounted for except for Truman himself. Like and that's also a pretty like major theme in the movie too, that even despite like everything you're still a human being. I'll explain that more later, but I should like kind of go into detail like the manipulation. But like the director of the Truman Show has planned out Truman's life in great detail, to the point where he managed to make Truman scared of the sea by killing off what Truman thought to be his father. Also, speaking of which, Truman was also picked out from like 20 unwanted pregnancies, which is insane that like he thought that far ahead instead of just like adopting a kid. But yeah, he ever since from birth, Truman has been like recorded. Even like while he was in the womb too. That was an interesting one too. All of this is being controlled. Like all this whole operation is being controlled and monitored by the executive producer, Christoph, who is played by Ed Harris in the elaborate puppet show that he controls. Everything Truman, like he controls everything involving Truman to the point where he essentially acts like God in this movie. But and I should get into the movie itself. But before like I get into the movie itself, I would recommend that you watch this video after you watch the movie, because one I really like I would really like appreciate if you actually watch the movie. Like the movie is just that good, honestly. I would recommend it to anyone. And two, I would recommend if you watch this video too afterwards, because I would appreciate that. But the movie is essentially just Truman slowly getting suspicious of everything, while he is a puppet in a show. He isn't fully controlled by strings, because despite his father dying purposely in an attempt to get him to abandon his passion for exploration, it ends up just giving him a fear of water and the ocean, and mostly making him scared to leave his island by water, mostly even to the point where he's scared to drive over a bridge over a lake. Like, they genuinely control that much of his life, but nonetheless, he still has a desire to explore, and seemingly has never gone away ever since his childhood. He also has a crush too from high school who was an actor too, but later decided to try telling Truman, "Hey, you're in the show. Get out while you still can," and that didn't work. And he just has like a crush on her, as like he's married and all that, and it's like an interesting plot too, because you can see like throughout the movie she's shown watching the show itself, cheering on for Truman whenever like Truman slowly discovers he's in the show. And honestly, like by the end of the movie, he discovers that the whole show was a fake, and he can finally escape. But discovers at the end of the movie 100% that he was in a show the whole time. When after reaching the edge of his dome, because he lives in the like his whole island city thing is inside of a dome, where like the whole show is in a dome, just to specify. But after he reaches the edge and hits the wall of the dome, the director directly speaks to him and says that he's in the show, and honestly one of the most greatest, like honestly the greatest scenes in all of cinema. He just he ends the movie with the beginning lines, and it is just honestly the ending is just something else. It is honestly like with the first time watching that movie was honestly magic. Like that, it had me in the edge of my seats. Like this, it was entertaining and everything. And honestly, the movie's like really good overall. I would say the movie. Yes, it's actually to answer the question from the thumbnail. Yes, yes, it is good. And honestly, I would recommend the movie. Like I said before, just the movie's planned out really well. It's awesome. It's great, and it's so complex too. Like take this scene for example.
Oh, Truman. You knew this would happen. You know you can't drive over water. Just go home where you'll feel safe.
Give me your hand. Sweetie. Drive.
Truman! We shouldn't be doing this, Truman! We're breaking the law! Oh, my! You can do it! Please don't, please! You can make it! Oh, Truman! Ah! Run for the bridge! Run for the bridge! Run for the bridge!
As you can see, Truman hesitates because of the fear that the director has instilled into him. But even with all his manipulation, Truman is still able to prevail by making his wife drive for him. Despite everything the director has done to manipulate him, Truman is still a human. He's not a puppet like the rest of the cast. He's a human being who has his own desires, and you can see how no matter what has happened to Truman through the entire show, or movie in this instance, he still has desire because he's not a puppet to entertain like whoever's watching. He's a human being who has his own life and has the potential to do anything. And that is the real meaning of the Truman Show. It's a great representation of freedom as a human being. This movie shows that despite your fears and whoever can force you into any situation, you are still a human being. You have your own desires, good and bad. You have fears. You can overcome those fears, and you can do anything. You're not a puppet made to entertain whoever is watching. You're a human being who has the ability to do anything, whether people are watching or not. So really, at the end of the day, the message for the Truman Show is that you are responsible for your own destiny. No one else can control what you do. You are a human being, and being human means doing what you want. And to me, that's personally a very powerful message. And I'm sure that there's some people who can relate to this. People who feel trapped and don't feel like their body is moving on their own accord, I guess you could say. But this movie, like I would say, can relate to people who feel down on their luck and think, "Oh, damn, I'm stuck and I really can't do anything." But no, that's not true. This movie is great, and honestly, I like not to spoil anything else, but this movie is great. Like the ending is amazing. Like from start to beginning, everything is just awesome, and I would even recommend showing this to like anyone who is anyone who can process movies essentially. And that's really it. I would say yes, the movie is good at the end of the day. So yeah, hello everyone, I'm Mindless Thinking, and before I end the video, I thought I'd share this like tad bit of information before like I end the video. Like I was originally gonna have this as my like thumbnail for this video, but I came across this video by Christopher Buckingham, who did an amazing video, and like and I would recommend you watch his video. I will link it in the description. Who like his video is great. I would recommend you watch it, but no hate to him. I didn't know about this video before I made the thumbnail. So yeah, the thumbnail is different to this one, but I just thought I'd share that because I already had it planned out. But before I started like filming, like well, I guess recording my voice, I just discovered this video. So yeah, check out his channel if you really like this one, and have a good one. I'm Minus Thinking, and you're. Sure, how do I end these?